Back here in the Next Panel podcast, talking the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, head of the holiday season. Back here with Doc Chris Mueller on the Twitter machine, BR_Doctor. Chris, what's going on, my man? How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm excited to talk about this. This is fun.
I've been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to talking about it. I was looking forward to watching it, and it delivered. It came out on Black Friday just a few short weeks ago. So, I'm looking forward to getting into it. Phil, you're back as well. Phil, DL616 on the Twitter machine. Phil, what's going on, dude?
I'm good. I think I was one of those people at one point that was like, I don't know about Disney Plus. I don't want to get another streaming platform, but I feel like at this point, Disney Plus is definitely worth it.
Listen, man, they've made it worthwhile between all the Marvel stuff, and we'll get into the Phase 4 stuff the next time we talk next week, but, between all the shows, and I didn't even realize until I looked it up a minute ago that there's been 8 Disney Plus Marvel shows in the last year plus, almost 2 years actually. Since we're approaching the 1 year mark, or the 2 year mark, of WandaVision next month, which is fucking crazy. But there's been a lot of shows, a lot of movies, and stuff like this. And we didn't have a chance to talk about the the Werewolf by Night one that came out a couple months ago before Halloween, but that was great. I hope they do more stuff like this in the future. But that being said, though, as much as I love the holiday Christmas stuff here with Marvel, not the first Christmas theme, thing that they've done. They did obviously Hawkeye last year during the Christmas season. But Phil, we've talked about this before. Iron Man 3 is the definitive Christmas movie for Marvel, is it not?
It is. It's a Christmas movie.
So people got to watch that this holiday season as well. But let's talk Guardians. Like I said, this came out Black Friday. This has been in the works for a while. I would think that if you're going to do any special, not a movie or a show, but rather just a one-off 45-minute special, this wasn't even an hour long, but it was the perfect length. If you're going to do a Christmas special with anyone in the Marvel Universe, I would have to think that the Guardians are the perfect people for the job. They fit this thing perfectly. It was more about Drax and kind of like the, that whole gang a little bit, not so much about Quill and Star-Lord or whatever. So I thought the way they did this was great. Mantis and Drax going out to Hollywood. John Cena is MCU canon. You saw it on the little map of all the celebrities' houses before they go to Kevin Bacon's house. We got Kevin Bacon in this thing, Cosmo, and the rest of the cast of characters. Buff Groot as well. A lot to talk about here. Chris, what were your top takeaways from the Guardians Holiday Special? What were your thoughts on it?
There was half a second where I looked at Buff Groot and I was like, did they just put Vin Diesel in a costume? Like, it was such a weird thing to see, but no, I really enjoyed this a lot. I liked the Werewolf by Night thing too. I like these little one-off Marvel like special presentations. It's almost like this is the evolution of the old Marvel one-shots. Remember the little short films they would put on the DVDs? Like, this is kind of the next step of that where, we may or may not see any of those Werewolf by Night characters again, but like they were able to film this while they were filming Guardians 3. And clearly it didn't take that much effort on their part because it was like a couple of sets and maybe one green screen set that they had to use. Like they did a good job keeping it pretty minimal and just it was literally just made for fun. Like, there was no world-ending cataclysm they had to stop. They just wanted to get Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just got such weird joy out of it. I loved it.
No, it was great, but the cool thing about it, not only was it a fun 45-minute special, but it wasn't completely pointless either. Like, I'm not to say this is must-see viewing, I think it is solely for the entertainment factor alone, but we found out that the Guardians purchased Nowhere. And we also found out, obviously, that Star-Lord and Mantis are related through Ego and whatnot. So that was the big reveal here on this thing. They kind of mentioned that early on, and that played a factor in the finish, so to speak, of the special here with Star-Lord and Mantis. So, no, there were a couple things they dropped that were actually very interesting. And not only that, like, again, we saw Buff Groot, and per the trailer that we saw that came out earlier, or late last week, rather, as we speak right now, a lot of the things that we saw in this special actually play into Guardians. It was kind of like a precursor to Guardians 3 coming out in May, which is only 5 months away. 5 months from December 5th, actually. It comes out May 5th, which is the exact anniversary of the second film from 6 years from that point. So, it actually wasn't completely pointless either. There was, like you said, no world-ending threat. But it did introduce a few things and mention a few things that could come back to be very relevant come Guardians 3. So, what about you, Phil? What were your thoughts on the special?
I thought it was great. I thought it was great that this fit in James Gunn's wheelhouse of going back to things he loved as a kid, and you could see all of the nods to all of those hokey Christmas specials for TV shows, and kind of like those one-offs. I think it was hilarious that he made the flashbacks rotoscope.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. Yeah,
which is such a James Gunn thing to do because it's such a 80s, early 90s thing to go back to, and that's something that Peter Quill would know of as a character. So I thought that was a good nod. I thought that this was probably the best we've seen Mantis in the entirety of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they made her a fully formed character finally. They finally acknowledged that she's a great hand-to-hand fighter. I thought that this was great. I thought that the way they used Kevin Bacon was great. I thought the idea that Kevin Bacon just loves Christmas was wholesome and hilarious. And you could tell he was excited to be a part of this. I read somewhere that the story of him being involved is that he went to the movies to see Guardians of the Galaxy, not knowing at all that they were going to mention him.
Oh, wow.
And being super excited and popping that he got mentioned in the movie, so much so that he saw it a second time with his wife and didn't tell her either because he wanted her to be surprised. And they were like excited together watching in the movie that he got like this basically not a cameo, basically a reference. And
yeah.
So it was cool that he got a chance to be a part of this special, and his wife got to actually voice herself in the phone calls.
Yeah, no, I thought that was perfect. I thought he played his role very well. I was worried from the trailers, which looked promising in this special delivered, obviously, but I was worried that he might be in it only for like a quick cameo, because all we ever really saw was him in his house. So I wasn't sure how significant of a role he would have on the special, but he was around for pretty much the entire second half of it, and obviously he was there at the on Nowhere at the end as well. So no, he was great. He was watching a movie at one point. As a quick sidebar, he was watching a movie at one point that I was not familiar with at all. I think in the credits it said it was called Christmas with the Martians or Santa Meets the Martians. Did either of you guys recognize the movie that he was watching at his house before Drax and Mantis showed up or no? You did? Okay.
Because they've done it on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, where was it from?
It's like Santa versus the Martians or something like that.
Yeah, it's something the Martians, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very fucking random.
It's such a James Gunn reference, and it fit the entire theme of the movie because in their mind, Kevin Bacon is an alien. So it's them kidnapping an alien and
I think I
back.
found it. It's called Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That's so random. No, I thought it was great. Like, they could have just made the obvious Home Alone reference or something, but he dug deep there with that reference, and I thought that was cool. And like you said, Phil, it played in perfectly into the story they were trying to tell, and I like all the digs they were taking, Mantis and Drax, when they were flying him back to Nowhere, like actors and shit, and it's like not who... He wasn't actually the character from Dirty Dancing or whatever it was, whatever the movie was, but no, I thought that was great. What was it? Flashdance. Okay, I get a lot of those movies mixed up, but yeah, no, I thought that was great.
Wait, you mean Footloose?
No,
Footloose,
yeah,
sorry.
Footloose. Yeah,
Footloose.
that was Footloose.
I'm
My
like
bad.
Flashdance.
Flashdance is
Is it Jennifer Grey?
Yeah, Jennifer Grey. Sorry, Footloose. But yeah, I at one point was like, some of this Drax stuff is just like a little too on the nose for me, but him turning around and very dryly saying, "We hate you," was hilarious. Just laughing at that.
Oh, that whole sequence when they were like, "Oh my God, he's an actor," and Mantis almost starts throwing up in her mouth. Like,
Yeah, that was great.
that was so funny.
Yeah, I think the fact that almost all the Guardians hate actors is really funny. That is a very funny in joke, but yeah, I think Rocket had probably the line of the entire special of him going, "Yeah, calm down. We're not here to hurt you." And he's like, "It's a raccoon. I'll kill you."
Yeah, that was great.
Or one of my favorite parts of it though was Nebula. 2 parts with her. One where she's like, maybe all actors aren't total pieces of shit. And then the other part where they show her dancing to the song for like a split second. And it's like, wow, that is exactly how you'd expect Nebula to dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she was great in this too.
Yeah, I think all of the members of the Guardians came out looking great. I think her finally getting Rocket Bucky's arm was
Oh,
a
of
great
course,
callback.
yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. I'd love to. I want to know the story behind that so bad. Like, please give us an Easter egg that explains where she got that.
Yeah, I love that Cosmo is like a member of the team now. There's a lot of stuff to like about this. I like that they did a good job of tying back to the Yondu stuff. Because, Yondu is still dead, but I think that they gave us a great moment in this stuff with him actually getting him a gift that ended up being his trademark guns, and him
And
getting
Peter's starting his little collection of tchotchkes that he keeps on his
Yeah.
dashboard.
yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff there. Yeah, I am getting stressful about Guardians 3 because I'm just like, there's so much cool stuff here, and I like all these characters, and I just know that James Gunn is going to break all of our hearts and kill one of them.
At least probably more than one.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. It's probably, like, at this point, Peter getting Gamora back and then losing her right away would be the most heartbreaking thing.
I was gonna say, do you think on the subject of Guardians 3, do you guys think they would really bring her back? She already died once. Do you think they'll kill her again?
No, I see Drax dying more possible because
Oh,
Batista
definitely.
said he doesn't want to do any more movies, and
Yeah.
I think Drax is probably gone. I wouldn't be surprised if Rocket's gone too. I don't want to believe that's true, but there were a lot of teases in the trailer that make me think that.
Well, that's the thing. Do you think that I had seen people say that they almost made it too obvious that he was going to die. Do you think those are just teases and it ends up being like a Drax? I mean, I could see, if we're taking a Deadpool here, I think Drax is almost definitely gone. I mean, I know Batista said that he's pretty much done with the character. He wants to do other stuff. Doesn't mean he necessarily has to die, but I think he probably will. Rocket, I think, would be a likely candidate. I just don't know if it's too obvious, and not that it's bad that it's obvious, but I don't know. They also showed Lila in the trailer, too, and I had seen other people say that maybe they kill her instead.
I love how in this you can tell that Batista's like, listen, guys, do we have to do the whole body makeup? Can I just wear a vest? And they're like, yeah, just wear a vest.
Yeah, I know. He had shirts on a lot throughout this, throughout the special and in the trailer for Volume 3.
That's great. Yeah,
I think it's a combination of, he said, he's like, I don't want to keep doing roles where I have to take my shirt off all the time. I'm like in my 50s now. I should be allowed to put on a few pounds. And then he also has commented on, like, the makeup process is not easy for that.
Yeah, well, it was funny you say that because he was also shirtless for pretty much most of, I don't know if you guys saw it, but for the Knives Out sequel that came out a couple weeks ago, because he's in that too. He's pretty much shirtless for almost in that entire movie. So maybe going forward, he doesn't want to wear, he just would rather wear a shirt so he doesn't have to work out as much or whatever. But yeah, no, you said Gamora too. She was another one that had mentioned not only just the makeup stuff, but did she not make the comment recently about how she felt tied down by the franchises and stuff? So do you think she might be done after this, whether she dies or not?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that.
Well, she'll be in Avatar 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9 too, I assume. So
I've never seen an Avatar movie.
well, neither have I, but I'm just saying they're coming out with another 20. So
Didn't Reg tweet that out the other day too?
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh no, it was Cam.
Oh yeah.
He was
I've never
doing one of
seen
those NGL app things, and somebody's like, "Are you looking forward to Avatar 2?" He's like, "Man, I haven't even seen Avatar 1." Because I think I told him, if you've seen Fern Gully or Dances with Wolves, then you've seen Avatar 1.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if I would say I think that Zoe's gone, but I definitely think, like, because they've made such a big to-do about how they don't want to do the Guardians movies without James, that I think once he makes the move over to DC, that a lot of them are going to move on.
yeah, well, do you think we would probably continue to see them in different forms as far as the Avengers stuff, or like where else? Depending on who survives, let's say Star-Lord survives, where would he show up?
Karen
Gillan.
think Karen Gillan is the only one who actually has more stuff on her contract. I think she talked about this recently where she's like, yeah, I have 3 movies left or something.
Oh, interesting.
Or maybe it was like 3 appearances, so maybe a TV show would count. But yeah, I think we're going to see Nebula a little bit more. Groot is one of those characters, like, he's completely CGI, and they have 10,000 versions of Vin Diesel saying, I am Groot. It's not like they need to keep bringing him back. So they could keep that character around in the spacefaring adventures quite a bit because we know we're getting Nova, and this movie is introducing Adam Warlock. Like, there's going to be a lot more space-based stuff in the future of the MCU, so I could see him sticking around.
Yeah, I could see him doing more stuff. Rocket's really the one that I'm kind of just torn on as far as whether they keep, because this movie's presumably going to be all about him. We didn't really see a whole lot of him in this special. This was really, like I said, the Drax and Mantis movie. Guardians 3, they've been building towards this since the first film as far as being experimented on. Such a great trailer, though. Like you said, they showed Warlock for the first time. The High Evolutionary, I thought he looks awesome. The same guy, I'm going to butcher his name, I've had to pronounce it, but he's the same guy from the Peacemaker show earlier this year as well. Chukwudi Awuji, I think his name might be. But yeah, no, that looks very good. So, I don't know, I thought they did with this special a great job of setting that up. And Cosmo, I think, is going to be in the third movie as well. I think Cosmo was even in the trailer for the third movie, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure she pops up in the trailer because it's voiced by a female actress who popped up in something else recently, Borat or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, he'll be in it, or she'll be in it rather. And who was it? Oh, as far as Kevin Bacon goes, do you guys think we could see Kevin Bacon make a cameo in the third movie, or was this a one and done, you think?
I don't know, but I hope to God there's a joke somewhere about how it's like Kevin Bacon is just a variant of Sebastian Shaw from X-Men First Class.
Yeah, it'd be funny. Yeah, it feels like a one-off. This very much felt like James Gunn coming in almost in character as Sean Gunn's character, saying how much Kevin Bacon meant to the franchise and how much he inspired Star-Lord as a character, which I think was a good moment of him giving like the explanation and getting him to go back and save Christmas. But yeah, it feels like a one-off. I thought that the song at the beginning of this was great. I thought them doing original music is such cool. A Christmas special thing to do, but I thought it was great.
You know who that band is, right?
I know the name of their band, but I'm forgetting it.
That's Kevin Bacon's band.
I got it. That makes sense.
And the dude who is the lead singer of the band is his real-life brother.
Oh, no shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, cool. So when Kevin Bacon is singing with them at the end, like, that's just his band he's singing with normally. He's one of those guys who, like, just decided, yeah, I'm going to have a band as a side project, even though I'm a famous actor and nobody really cares if I sing.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, most Christmas specials have original music. Like, every single Christmas episode of Futurama has an original song. Yeah. I was glad that they brought that part in if they're going to do a Christmas special. And music is such a big part of the Guardians franchise, so it made perfect sense. And I thought,
I can think about is Coolio as Kwanzaa Bot.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought this was great, and I thought all of the nods in the song to like real Christmas movies was great. Yeah, I feel like there's tons of references here. If you watch a lot of the stuff that James Gunn enjoys, that you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, no, he's an interesting dude. This special definitely encapsulates pretty much everything, his style and humor and stuff like that.
And it was genuinely sweet, too. Like, the moment when he comes out and sees all the decorations is a very Christmas movie kind of moment. Mm-hmm. The whole thing with him and Mantis sharing the little hug after she reveals the information about being his sister, like, there was a lot of just genuinely nice little moments. All the gifts, like, all the little dioramas that everybody got from Groot, and it's like, Kraglin's is literally him holding his own diorama over and over and over. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and I think stuff like this is what's going to help keep the MCU from, like, totally bottoming out, because, like, there are people who are getting, like, not superhero fatigue necessarily, but Marvel fatigue.
Yeah.
I'm not, but, like, that's because I'm actually taking each project as its own thing, and I think they're doing a great job of tapping into these different genres. Like, you know, Doctor Strange did have a little bit of a horror bent to it.
Yeah.
And then so did Werewolf by Night, even though it was also very humorous. It, like, it called back to all those really cheesy 1950s horror movies. So, yeah, I really liked this, and I think that doing more little 1 hour, 45-minute, whatever, specials with either really weird, obscure characters or characters who definitely are not going to get their own movie, like, that's the best way to use them. And it's going to keep people happy because it'll keep giving us, original content on this service we're all paying for.
Yeah. Do you think going forward as we head into Phase 5, do you want to see, I would agree, I want to see more of this stuff. I think all the shows so far have been good to great. Some have been stronger than others. Obviously, like I said, we'll talk about that next week. But like I mentioned, we've had 8 shows in the span of 2 full years since early 2021. I know they've already announced several stuff as far as shows and movies and whatever. I know we only had, I think, 3 movies this year between Doctor Strange, Thor, and then Black Panther, which I think is that's a perfect amount of movies per year. We had like 4 last year in the span of 4 months, but COVID fucked it up, I get it. I would rather see more stuff like this, honestly, where it's just a quick 45-hour-long special. And I feel like with certain shows, you can condense it down to an hour-long special. I know you have to kind of do the character origin and stuff, but maybe it only works, like you said, Chris, with like the obscure characters. But do you think something like this would work quarterly? Like we had one in early October. I know this dropped in November, but it's really just for Christmas. Do you think they could afford to do more of these, like 3 or 4 a year, and then maybe cut back on the shows a little bit?
I mean, I don't know if it means they'll cut back on the shows, but yeah, I could see them doing 3 or 4 of these a year. And Kevin Bacon even made the joke, like, "I'll see you guys for Easter."
Yeah, that's funny, yeah.
Like, I could absolutely see them doing some kind of dumb Easter thing where Kevin Bacon shows up for, like, 1 minute at the end, like, "Hey, guys, did I miss it?" And they're like, yeah, it's over, dude.
Yeah, no, Sorry, go ahead, Phil.
No, I think it would work. I would be all for something like Thor discovers what he's thankful for on Thanksgiving.
Oh, my God. With his old roommate. His old roommate takes him to his family. Remember that guy? What was his name? Daryl?
Oh, from that, you're talking about that little commercial short thing they did years ago is what you're talking about?
Yeah, where, like, Thor was just staying with him in his apartment.
I think there's on Disney Plus now. Yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
And he was in the Love and Thunder as the tour guide in Asgard.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. You mentioned that when we reviewed it, yes.
He was.
So,
that was for Friendsgiving would be great.
Thor's Giving, yeah. Like, that would be so great. And, like, yeah, and he's the perfect character, too, because they basically turned Thor into a punchline machine.
Yeah, no, that would be perfect for that. I think I was hoping that we would get more holiday specials with the Guardians specifically with James Gunn, but I think, like you said, it's this and then it's Guardians 3, and then he has to be done. It's not like he may be done. He's definitely done because he's headed over to DC to do their overall head of creative sort of stuff, so which is a shame. But listen, if this is one of the final things we get from James Gunn in the MCU ahead of the upcoming movie, that's totally fine with me. He's going out on a high note. Everything he's done so far, the man... he just doesn't fucking miss with any of his projects, so I'm looking for Guardians 3, and I thought this was a nice appetizer for that. So, no, this was great. Thoroughly enjoyed this. Glad we had a chance to talk about it and watch it from a few weeks ago. But the next time we chat, guys, will be about Phase 4. And there's a lot. I see all these YouTube clips and thumbnails and headlines and tweets. Why Phase 4 sucked, why it was awful. I think we're going to have a few different opinions on that come next week. I definitely do. I don't agree with that at all. But we'll talk about it next week and why Phase 4 was good, bad, somewhere in the middle. We'll talk about it in the next week's episode. So this was great, guys. People could follow you, Chris, on the Twitter machine at BR_Doctor. Phil, you're on the Twitter machine at PhilDL616. Take care, guys. I'll talk to you about Phase 4 next week.